Today on Locked On Red Wings, it wasn't pretty at time, but Andrew Copp got the game winner in overtime. Red Wings win 3-2 over the Sharks.
You're Locked On Red Wings, your daily podcast on the Detroit Red Wings. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to the Locked On Red Wings podcast. We are your hosts, Brian Fisher and Scotty Bentley. I am the podcast producer for the Daily J, a WWJ News Radio podcast. Well, Scotty's the host over at Locked On Tigers, as well as a freelance journalist for the Detroit News. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook, official sportsbook of Locked On. Make every moment more. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn today to get started. And Scotty, as you and I both know, and the listeners at this point most certainly know, because why would they be listening to a recap episode if they don't know the result of the game? But the Red Wings won 3-2 in overtime against the San Jose Sharks. And I missed the entire third period in overtime because I was busy getting my shoulder dislocated in my men's league game. So I'm wearing a sling right now. Super fun. When I left, it was 2-2 at the end of the second, and the Red Wings got caved in at the end of the second period. They did not score a goal in the third. Either team did not. But they won in overtime, which is shocking. And don't worry, guys. I did my research. I know what happened from there on out the rest of the game. But, I mean, break it down for me, man. I thought up until that last couple minutes in the second period, it was a competitive hockey game. And then the Red Wings just collapsed at the end of the second, and it was tie game. What happened in that third and overtime?
Well, for starters, I have 6 minutes of an episode of me just roasting you.
I'm glad I didn't use it.
That is in my possession that I did download. I did not just say, oh, I'm not posting it. I guess I could delete this. I downloaded the episode, so I have it and will use it to my leisure at some point, I'm sure. Yeah, you know what? This was we've talked about so often this year, and I said this in our now as well that we post after every game. Like there are so many games this year where we've been like, wow, we outplayed them, and we just can't put the puck in the back of the net. So now that the reverse has happened, it feels weird to like complain about it. You know what I mean? Like that feels like, oh, you can't have it both ways kind of thing. But in the same breath, can we just have it all? Like, I don't want to sound greedy, but like, can we just have a team that like does outplay their opponent and just wins the game they're supposed to win? Like, it was not a great third period. It certainly was not a great, like the last 5 minutes of the second were brutal. The third period was, the beginning of the third was brutal. The end of the third period was brutal. And then overtime was like 30 seconds long. So like whatever, but, yeah, I mean, it was just one of those games, man. Like they got outplayed. I would say they got slightly outplayed in the first, and then outplayed in the second big time, and probably slightly outplayed in the third as well, but, ended with more shots on net regardless. And, we're able to walk away with 2 points. Like all the recap really is just like same story, different day. I mean, it was really, really poor defense against a really, really bad hockey team, which is like not encouraging at all. And then for the entire end of the second and third period there, it was a lot of shots with no one able to put the puck in the back of the net. We've been saying both of those things pretty much religiously at this point at the end of every single Red Wings game for the last month and a half. So really, like, nothing changed. It just they're walking away with a win in this one versus the alternative.
Yeah, I mean, well, one, to go back to, you have 6 minutes of roasting me because I didn't think I'd be able to record this, because after I dislocated my shoulder, I called you and was like, I got to go to the ER. I can't get this back in. And then all it took for me to get it back in after calling you was to lift my arm right in front of me. I never felt a pop. It hurt, but all of a sudden the pain went away. And then I put my arm back down and it was back in the joint. So that's why he went solo for 6 minutes, because I didn't think I was going to make it. And then I
It's
went
a
back
great
in.
show. It actually is it's like 4 minutes of Red Wings talk and probably like 2 minutes beginning and end of these 6
Clowning me.
minutes of just like kind of laying into you. Yeah.
Well,
Maybe more like 3 minutes of hockey
if
talk.
if
But
if
yeah.
it's so my team is paralleling the Red Wings right now as we just broke an L5 in overtime with a win
Nice.
in that game. But back to the Red Wings. I mean, yeah, this is something that you say, can we have it all? And I don't think we're asking for a lot. I mean, you
There's
played
lots of
close
teams that
games.
do it all. Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
we played close games against the Philadelphia Flyers and now the San Jose Sharks, two bottom feeders in the league. And after the game against the Philadelphia Flyers, Larkin comes out and says, this felt like a playoff atmosphere game. That's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. You don't want games against the Philadelphia Flyers to feel like a playoff atmosphere game. You don't want games
Hey,
against the San Jose Sharks to go to overtime 3-2, because we had expectations, Scotty, that at the start of the season, this team would should be dominating the teams like the San Jose Sharks.
yeah, for
Now,
sure.
reality has set in, and maybe we talked about this the other day, that maybe while our expectation was 85 points, or mine at least was 85 points, and while that is a step forward, the play that goes into an 85-point team is probably closer to what we're seeing. Like my expectation for their play did not equate to my expectation for their point total. And I recognize that now, because now I'm realizing, okay, this team isn't
There's
like
also a
that great.
lot of different ways to get to 85 points,
Yeah.
brother. Like there's yeah.
But at the same time, like, they won, so I'm not going to kill them too much. But all the same, like you said, all the same issues they had were there. I will say, if we want to stick to the positives first, I thought they played a really good first period. I thought the first period they had the edge in the quality scoring chances. They had like 2 or 3 prime chances. Raymond made a couple
Yeah.
nice moves, get in on goal and get a shot on net rather. David Perron missed the net wide open on
Oh
a
my
short
gosh,
side
man.
on a
I don't
power
know how he
play.
didn't bury that.
So, and the analytics show it. They had the edge in Corsi for percentage until near the end of the first period. And then in the second period, it was even until near the end of the second period and took another dip. So the Red Wings are just bad at the end of periods, apparently. At least in this stretch, they're bad at the end of periods. Who knows what'll be in the next stretch?
Right, yeah, then
But
the first, 7 games after the All-Star break, it'll be a completely new thing that they just have found a way to to be bad at a different area we never considered, yeah.
But I thought they came out of the gate fired up, playing hard, and I thought there were several players on this team that had good games, one of which being Lucas Raymond. I know there was an injury scare, but he ended up rejoining the team and finished out the game.
Yeah.
But especially in that first half of the game prior to him getting injured, which I think was just the first period, like, he was all over the place making stuff happen. I believe his point streak is finally snapped now. He had it wasn't a point streak, but he had 16 points in 16 games. But he
Yeah.
did not get a point in this one. So 16 points in 17 games. I guess we'll have to settle for that. Unless he gets 2 points next game, then it's back to 18 and 18.
Right, there you go.
So I thought he had a really good game. He's been really stepped his game up, but so has Michael Rasmussen, man. Michael Rasmussen has been on one. And it's every single time Michael Rasmussen has a good game, I feel so incredibly vindicated. So incredibly vindicated, because we were both on the don't give up on Michael Rasmussen train. He had a very strong finish to last season, and a position where when he was playing center or wing, he was looking good. And we were saying he could be a center in this league. I think tonight he played wing,
He
but
did, yeah.
he had a great game. He had a goal and he had the assist on the overtime winner. He laid out big hits. He got hurt as well. He took a stick to the hip, but he kept playing as well. I'm in love with Michael Rasmussen's development. Again, I don't think he's going to be some superstar, but he's going to be an important middle six forward on this team in my eyes, especially with his combination of size, speed. I think that and grit. I think that's going to be huge when this team's a contender, for him to go out there and kind of be the bully, but also have the speed to make things happen.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the biggest value he brings right now, that will only hopefully continue to grow, is the versatility. Like we talk about depth so much, but versatility is a big part of depth too. And having somebody that's that size that you can plug at center or wing, whatever is needed on a night-to-night basis, is unbelievably valuable for sure.
Absolutely. When we come back, we'll continue. We'll talk a little bit more about some of the good things. Obviously, Ville Husso gets a major shout out. But first, I got to talk to you guys today about FanDuel Sportsbook. The NFL playoffs are here. We're excited about our new sports betting partner for Locked On, because they're the number one sportsbook in America, FanDuel. And if you're new to FanDuel, that's even better. They have so many great features that make betting on sports fun and easy. New customers join today and get started with $150 in free bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Just sign up at FanDuel.com/lockedon. FanDuel has all your favorite bets from the money line to point spreads or player props. Plus, you can even combine your bets for a chance at bigger payouts with a same game parlay. All in the app, safe and secure and super easy to use. So football fans, don't miss out. Place your first $5 bet to get $150 in free bets, win or lose, at FanDuel.com/lockedon. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Segment 2, Locked On Red Wings podcast. We're breaking down the 3-2 overtime win over the San Jose Sharks. Almost said Philadelphia Flyers there. So I'm a little mixed up this evening. Forgive me. But Ville Husso, again, 3 straight games where I thought he looked really good. He had a goal saved above expected of .72. He allowed 2 goals in this game. His expected goals against was 2.72. So now you can see why there's the goal saved above expected of .72. So, I mean, when the Red Wings win, it's in large part because of Ville Husso. Because if Ville Husso shows up, and we've had this conversation on end, when Ville Husso shows up, this team is in a position where they can win a hockey game. And it was true in win against the Vegas Golden Knights. He showed up. It was true against the Philadelphia Flyers. He showed up. And the team just couldn't put it more than 1 goal in the net. And it was true again tonight against the San Jose Sharks. Ville Husso continues this trend of getting kind of back on the horse, so to speak. That is named Friday.
What's that horse's name, baby?
I just said it. It's Friday.
That's right.
I knew you were going to say something if I didn't say it. So it's been reassuring to see, because last season with Alex Nedeljkovic, once that really hot stretch to start the season and he was done carrying the team kind of ended, it was up and down with Alex Nedeljkovic. It'd be like 46 shot shutout, followed by 4 goals on 20 shots. And with Ville Husso, he had quite a pretty long down stretch in terms of his save percentage, just the goals he was allowing per game. And it was, again, we talk about it, it wasn't 100% on him, but he wasn't on his A game either. It's nice to see that he's kind of back on that A game. And I think that was his 50th NHL win, his 50th professional win in this one.
Yeah, for sure. And it's never really been, well, I shouldn't say never, but it has rarely been like exclusively his fault for, those losses or like big, blowouts. And like you said, we talk about that a lot. And it's definitely nice to see him kind of get, like you said, back on the horse named Friday and like get back on, kind of what we were accustomed to in the first couple of months of the season. But no goalie should have to to face what this defense lets their goalie face.
You know what that sounds like? It sounds like it's time to look at a heat map.
Right. Yeah. No, like it is great. Don't get me wrong. Like it's great that he is lately has been back. I mean, golly, this should literally come with like a parental advisory warning. That's disgusting.
Hold on 1 second.
It's frustrating because like, yes, I'm glad that he's doing well, but the fact that this defense is so consistently bad that we pretty much only win, and like the offense is far too inconsistent to rely on. We pretty much just only win when Husso is on his A game and has to be like, go crazy mode just to be able to get us a win. Because like I said, the offense is too consistent and the defense does him zero favors on a night-to-night basis.
No, absolutely. You're right. And, it's when you say that if this team is going to win a game, it's because Husso played really well. That's great for Husso, but not a good look for the team. And this is a rebuilding team still. They're at a point where You kind of need one guy to carry the team if you want a chance to win. And unfortunately, that's where the Red Wings are at. But I mean, this is one of the worst heat maps we've seen all season, Scotty.
On both sides. This
on
is
both sides, yeah.
brutal offensively. That's not a good look for your offense. And yeah, this is this is genuinely one of the worst defensive zone heat maps I think we've seen all year.
And like we've seen it where like it's been like off to like they give up a lot of opportunities off to the side of the net. Here, let me do it so you guys can actually see off to the side of the net right here. Both these goals happen. Like
this is a half circle of blue. This is every angle in front of the net, and it's all the way like deep into the slot, man. I mean, that's just that's. Let's
look at his high danger chances given up in this game. I'm really curious how many high danger chances he faced at 5-on-5. He faced 7 high danger shots against, only one of which went for a goal at even strength. Let's switch that to all. So a total that's 7. So that's a lot of high danger shots against when you only give up 25 shots in a game. That's a high percentage that should not come that close in as compared to the Sharks, where he faced 2. You got 2 high danger shots on James Reimer. Granted, he allowed 1 goal in, which I imagine had to have been, this is at 5-on-5. So which one of those goals would it have been? Had to have been the Adam Erne one. Well, no, both. So Adam Erne and Michael Rasmussen had high danger shots at, am I still at all? No, I'm at 5-on-5 again. So it would have been the overtime goal. So it had to have been the Michael Rasmussen shot because the Erne one was a redirection. Either way, regardless, I'm getting off topic.
Well, yeah, the Ras was, that's high
Yeah.
That's right there, right? That's a break. Like that's got to be as high danger as it gets. Yeah.
But the point being is you can't be giving up 7 high danger shots against and only putting up 2. It's just
well, that's what I said earlier, man. Like this is, it's just so weird. Like it's so consistently inconsistent. Like the defense being porous is pretty much the only thing that's consistent at this point. Like we've talked at length for the last month about hey, look, the 5-on-5 took a big step in the right direction. Wow, like we're actually kind of beating some teams on 5-on-5 play. Like look at these numbers, look at possession metrics and stuff. But they can't put the puck in the back of the net. And then tonight they win and they get we don't have to sugarcoat it. Like honestly, for like the metrics and whatnot are not good. Like they got outplayed for at least the second half of all 3 periods. Yeah. Like it's just, oh man, this team never fails to amaze me, I guess is my point.
Yeah, it can certainly be frustrating at times. And Corsi for percentage at 5-on-5, the shots percentage at 5-on-5, the scoring chance, like everything leaned Sharks. It was 60% Corsi, 54% Fenwick, 53% shots. So we talked about how the only thing the Red Wings really had was shots, right? They outshot them 35-30 in this game. But when you just filter that to 5-on-5 play, because that is if you're a dominating hockey teams win the 5-on-5 battle like almost every night. The Red Wings don't do that. They lost the Sharks outshot them 26-23 when it was even strength, full strength.
I mean, we can transition that right into the power play that looked awful in this game.
I mean, 3 opportunities.
Goodness gravy. That was a brutal power play. The penalty kill did its job, I guess. There was no power play goals scored on either team, but I mean, goodness gravy, man. That was something else. Especially, I think it was the first power play of the game. I'm not sure they got a shot off until like a minute into the power play, and like they had possession, they had the puck in the offensive zone, and I mean, I don't know about you, I was just yelling, I was screaming, shoot at my TV, like someone shoot the puck, dude.
You must have read my tweet. I said,
I mute you. What are we talking about?
Wow. Just so everybody knows that we are only colleagues. We're not friends.
I don't have you muted, Jill. I don't think I have anyone muted these days. I'd have to look. Anyway, I don't have you muted. I didn't see your tweet, though.
Shocker. Are you going to finish your thought or
That was it. I was
You're
just
finished?
saying, like, the power play was
Okay.
brutal, and, like, I was yelling "shoot" at the TV because, like, they just kept passing it back and forth. They were trying tic-tac-toe, like, it was a bunch of, like, trying to set people up, but, like, no one was actually willing to take the shot, and then when they did, I think Kubi took a shot, and it was not even it was, like, 3 feet off from the net. Like, it was just a really abysmal first, like,
Well, and
45 seconds to a minute of the first power play.
their best opportunity was Perron missing the net. I
Yeah,
mean,
100%.
he had an open net and he just missed it. And
100%.
normally he
Yeah,
doesn't
that
miss
should
those.
have been in.
It is what it is. When we come back, we'll wrap up our conversation on the game. We got to give props to Dylan Larkin, 400 points for the captain as he continues to battle Steve Yzerman for that contract extension. I'm just kidding. I don't know what it's like, but we'll talk about that when we come back. Stay tuned to Locked On Red Wings. Segment 3, Locked On Red Wings podcast. Scotty, let's talk about D-Boss, the
Can we
captain.
play a game really quick?
Yeah.
Where both of us raise both of our hands up in the sky as quick.
I can do it. I just not recommend it. It's back in now. It just hurts. It just throbs. But I have my full range of motion back.
Okay, good.
I didn't earlier, like literally. Oh god, it was so awful, dude. It was so awful. I had an
would
assist.
imagine.
I had
It
an
was
assist,
so
man.
funny. I started the show and I was like, "Yeah, Brian, he seems like he's in good spirits." He called me, but he's definitely in a lot of pain. Like I'm giving everyone like a rundown.
Yeah, it sounds like I got shot based on the way you say it.
Well,
well,
I mean, you didn't. What do you mean?
oh, I don't know. You just said well.
No, like obviously you didn't.
So, yes, Dylan Larkin, 400 career points. He got an assist on this one. Redirected shot by Adam Erne for his 6th of the season. Can't quite remember off the top of my head how many goals that is for Adam Erne. Don't really keep tabs on.
I couldn't tell you either.
Yeah,
5 or 6.
But Dylan Larkin continues to be on pace for a new career high, and he continues to campaign for a brand new shiny contract, and it was his 400th point. So, good for him. I thought he played a fairly good game.
He's
I
on
struggle
pace
to
for
say
career
that.
high in points.
Yeah. Yes.
Not goals though.
Not goals, points.
Right. I was
Yeah.
gonna say because he's still at 15, ain't he?
Yeah. Yeah. But his career high in goals is like 32. So he goes on a tear.
I mean, I guess, but
He just needs one little hot streak.
we ain't we've seen the opposite of a goal scoring tear from him in the last like month. So
Can we say something positive about Dylan Larkin? Please?
yeah, 400 points, man. I mean, we were the people that were like, yeah, give him the money. There's still a lot of people out there that are like, oh, I'd give him like half of that. Like there's still a lot of. We are definitely not the negative Dylan Larkin people. That's certainly not our brand at all.
So many crazy takes on Twitter and in our comments. Like, I understand thinking that 8 million is too much for him. Like, teach their own. But like, you have to understand that's also the going rate for a guy of his caliber. Like, $8 million isn't superstar caliber money anymore. Like, it's just not. And like, I've seen several people compare it to Leon Draisaitl. And like, oh, Draisaitl's only making $8 million. Well, yeah, he also signed that in 2017 when the cap was
16.
lower. 16?
Yeah.
The cap was lower back then. So $8 million was a higher percentage. And also, he had yet to have a 100-point season at the point of when he signed that extension. At that point, his career high was 77 points in 82 games, less than a point per game. Sound familiar?
Right.
So if you want to make that comparable, you need to know the context. And it's just, like the Steven Stamkos has brought up too. And again, it's like, okay, but Steven Stamkos also took a little bit of a discount to stay with the team he thought could win the Stanley Cup. Like that's because that team was cap-strapped.
Public knowledge, yeah.
So when you make comparables,
Crosby signed his in the Bush administration. Like that doesn't count either. Like
you got to know the context when you make those comparables. And I sound so condescending right now, but it just drives me nuts. That's why we brought up Matthew Barzal. That's why we brought up Thomas Hertl, because those are recent contracts that were signed.
This is the conversation that people are having. So like, it's definitely our job to talk about it. But
or when they bring up Sergachev, who just signed his extension, it's like, okay, but he's also a defenseman, and they go for less than forwards typically. So it's like you have to take into account everything when you make those comparables.
And the biggest thing for me is just like, again, we have so much cap flexibility. Like this, it's not gonna like hinder us. It's not gonna And I mean, the cap's going to get even bigger. There's even talking about like getting rid of the hard cap and making it like baseball with like a soft cap or like a luxury tax thing. Like that's a whole different 400 points. He got his 400th career point in this game. Really wanted it to be a goal, but we'll take the assist. We'll take Mr. 400 there. Was a cool moment. The picture with him with the puck is already on Twitter and stuff. Super cool.
Moritz Seider landed a big hit in this game, but I honestly thought this was probably one of the worst games that Woolman and Moritz Seider had as a pair. I mean, the second goal went off of Moritz Seider, but the whole line was scrambling. I wouldn't put that on both Woolman and Seider because they couldn't get the puck out. That's not just on the defenseman. That's the forwards were no help.
I mean, honestly, I know, I know that we just talked about like how we wanted to say good things about Larks and like obviously, the captain, all the respect in the world, but the top line did not do very well. They got outplayed to heck and back, and the top defensive pairing did not play well. Like the game was pulled up kind of by its bootstraps by the bottom nine on the forward group, and certainly not the top pairing on defense either. Like it was just a really rough go for the top unit all around in this one. So
what's crazy too is we talk about how, and this is like a good / bad thing. We talk about how the heat map was so ugly, right? The Red Wings had 23 blocked shots compared to the San Jose Sharks 9. So one, it's great that they're blocking shots, but the fact that heat map looked as bad as it did, and that doesn't count the blocked shots, that's shots on goal, guys. If they hadn't blocked those shots, think about how badly the Red Wings would have gotten outshot in this game. Yeah. Like, and a Corsi 4 percentage, because Corsi 4 is shot attempts and it factors in blocked shots. So it was like, 65 to 45. I mean, that kind of tells you the story right there at even strength. So that kind of tells you how bad it was. But I mean, so it's great that they blocked that many shots. Like that's fantastic. They're not afraid to put their bodies in the line to play defense. Like that was the one thing the defense did well in this game was block shots, but also they shouldn't be getting caved in that poorly at the same time. It just shouldn't see that many shot attempts against.
Yeah.
It was
correct. Agreed all around.
But outside that, Andrew Copp scored the game-winning goal. Good on him.
Hey, outside Copper all around. I thought this was one of his better games, man. I thought he looked great all game, really start to finish. I thought he was one of the only people that him and Bergeron, I think were two of the only people I could really feel confident saying that about. I thought both of them honestly looked fantastic. I thought Copp played really solid defensively, which is something we've talked about a lot this year, and like one of the reasons you brought him in. I don't know Copp's numbers specifically, but like the team in the faceoff circle did a little bit better. So
55%.
Yeah, so that's certainly something that we've talked about a lot. But I thought Copp looked, aside from the game winner. I mean, that was kind of just like on a platter for him. Like he took advantage of the opportunity. But I thought, possession wise, especially, he looked really solid in this one. Looked really good in the neutral zone.
Yeah, I mean, he continues to perform better and better as the season goes on. It took him a long time to get, I would say, back to NHL speed. Like there were this first few, like I would say the first month and a half of the season, he looked out of place because of that core surgery. He had no off-season training, no training camp, no preseason. He just came into the season cold and was expected to be a 2C. And he's been getting better as the season goes on. He's currently like on pace for like around his career totals tend to be. So offensively, his production's fine. It's defensively, I think, where he's supposed to thrive. That
defensively, and I mean, like in the face-off circle, like those are two of the reasons that like we brought him in. Like that, like you said, the point total is going to be around there. If you expected more, I don't know what to tell you, but definitely have expected a little bit more defensively. Which again, I thought in this game he was one of the few that looked a little bit looked pretty solid. I think he just like he looked pretty fast tonight, but I think he just benefits from like the aggressive forecheck like moments, and that's not like so inconsistent. Like some games, this team is super aggressive on the forecheck, and I mean even the back check too. Like all of it, like they just are like super aggressive with suffocating the puck, and then like there's other games where they just like completely sag off, and I don't understand the rhyme and reason to it. It's very kind of frustrating at times. But honestly, on a Copp, yes, very, very solid night, and definitely I think should look for defensively and in the faceoff circle for him to take some steps forward to start understanding why we gave him the money.
Yeah, absolutely. So all in all, guys, it wasn't a pretty game. They got the win though. Thank Ville Husso, and congratulations to Dylan Larkin and our boy Michael Rasmussen continuing to take steps forward. I don't have the player card up, but I was looking at it earlier in the game or earlier in the day. His defensive metrics are strong. He's a strong defensive forward. I love that. So we might. But there's so many individual players I want to talk about. I want to talk more about Jake Woolman. I want to talk more about Michael Rasmussen, but we have an entire week where we have no hockey games. So bring that up then. So any final thoughts, man?
We ball.
We ball. We'll be back tomorrow with a brand new episode. So stay tuned. Same time, same place. It's your team every day.
Every day.